All right, let's talk about a movie that basically ripped the golden facade right off of old Hollywood and showed everyone the darkness underneath. We're diving into the 1950 classic Sunset Boulevard, a true masterpiece of cinema that kicks off, well, after the story is already over.
I mean, seriously, what an opening gambit. This question hits you right away and just shatters your expectations. It tells you this isn't going to be a mystery about who did it. Nah, this is going to be a cynical, twisted journey into how everything went so horribly wrong.
And there he is, our narrator Joe Gillis, already dead in a swimming pool. So yeah, this isn't a whodunit, it's a how he got done it. From the very first shot, you know this whole thing ends in a total disaster. The real question that pulls you in is, how in the world did he get there?
So let's hit rewind and figure out how Joe ended up in that pool. His story is this slow, creeping descent into a psychological nightmare, and it all started with what looked like his big break.
So you've got Joe. He's a screenwriter. He's totally broke, hiding his car from debt collectors. He pulls into the garage of this huge, decaying mansion, and it's right there that his desperation crashes head-on into the epic delusion of Norma Desmond, a star whose entire world just stopped the second silent movies died.
At first, it just seems like a simple job, you know? He's gonna punch up a script for her. But that's not what happens. It quickly turns into a trap. Joe thinks he's calling the shots, but he becomes just another one of her possessions, another ghost in her mansion of memories. And from there, he becomes a full-time participant in her grand delusion that she's about to make the greatest comeback in movie history. A comeback that is absolutely 100% never going to happen.
But the real gut punch of this movie isn't just in the script. The true genius is in the casting, which just completely blurs the line between fiction and the tragic reality of Hollywood.
This is what you call metacasting, and it is devastatingly brilliant here. Gloria Swanson, who plays Norma, she was a massive silent film star whose career tanked when talkies came in. And Eric von Stroheim, who plays her butler Max, he was a legendary director who got kicked to the curb by the studios. They aren't just playing characters, they are channeling these haunted, tragic versions of their own lives. It gives their performances a reality that is just chilling.
And this line says it all. This is Norma Desmond declaring war on time itself. It's not just about movies, it's her absolute refusal to become irrelevant. And the way Gloria Swanson says it with such power, you almost believe her. In her mind, the world didn't move on, it just got worse. It got smaller. So who was the mind behind this whole dark and twisted vision? That would be the director, Billy Wilder, a guy famous for his sharp wit and an even sharper, more cynical take on the world.
Wilder just refused to be put in a box, so instead, he made this perfect cocktail of different styles. You've got the dark, cynical mood of a film noir, you've got the creepy, decaying mansion of a Gothic horror movie, and then he injects these moments of pitch-black comedy, all wrapped up in a heartbreaking tragedy. It's amazing.
But you know, Wilder's most revolutionary move was making a dead guy his narrator. That single choice just drains all the hope out of the story from the get-go. There's no chance of a happy ending. It creates this suffocating, fatalistic vibe that hangs over every single scene. We know Joe is doomed, which makes watching his journey all the more tragic.
Now, let's talk about how this movie looks. The visual style here isn't just for show, it's a huge part of the storytelling. It actually turns Norma's mansion into a prison of the mind. The cinematographer used this technique called chiaroscuro. All that really means is a heavy use of light and shadow. But in Norma's house, those deep, dark shadows and harsh spotlights aren't just for drama. They're like a visual map of her own mind, showing us all the menace and darkness lurking right under the glamorous surface.
They also use something called deep focus, which keeps everything in the shot, from front to back, perfectly clear. This visually traps the characters, so you might see Joe in the foreground, and then way in the background, Norma is lurking, and they're both sharp and clear. It locks them together in the same frame, but at the same time, it shows you just how huge the psychological distance between them really is.
So, why are we still talking about this movie more than 70 years later? Why does it still feel so relevant? Well, it's because the fears it preys on, the fear of being forgotten, of delusion, the desperate hunger for fame, they're more powerful today than they've ever been.
This is the fear that's eating Norma Desmond alive. And it's something we can all understand, right? The terror of becoming irrelevant, of being left behind by a culture that's always chasing the next new thing.
And that leads right to this question. Norma's answer is pretty much all the way. But let's be honest. In our world of social media influencers and people doing anything for attention, her obsession doesn't feel nearly as crazy as it might have back then. The film is holding up a mirror to our own desperate need to be seen.
And this one really gets to the heart of it. Where does self-belief stop and, well, where does madness begin? Is Norma's belief in her own stardom just extreme confidence, or is it pure delusion? The film's terrifying suggestion is that the line between those two things is incredibly thin.
Because ultimately, Sunset Boulevard is so much more than just a movie about Hollywood. It's this scathing look at how easily our relationships can just become transactions. Joe sells his talent for a place to live. Norma buys his youth for a shot at feeling relevant again. It's a brutal look at a dog-eat-dog world.
And the film leaves us with this final, haunting idea. Joe's fate wasn't some unique tragedy. It's just what happens in a system built to use people up and throw them away. As he says, everyone's floating face down in someone's pool. Some people just haven't hit the water yet. A dark, unforgettable masterpiece, and maybe the greatest cautionary tale Hollywood ever told about itself.